Well, February's passed, and not a lot of movies came out that month. Oh well, there are still a few I can think of that I saw at the Bridgeway and in mainstream theaters, so let's talk about them, why not? First up is Kingsman: The Secret Service. If you're a fan of the movie Kick-Ass or a fan of the James Bond movies, then this should be right up your alley. It's very wild, very violent, very over the top, and very British, if that's a thing. It's clear from the get-go that this movie takes its inspiration from classic James Bond movies. The heroes are men in suits who kill their enemies with style, while the villains are crazy and over the top. And all of them are great. Colin Firth is awesome as a spy, and the villain's henchman is this woman with swords for feet. I'm not even kidding. The only problem I have with this is that the main character spends a long majority of the movie in training to become a spy. The movie switches between the main character training and Colin Firth doing spy work. And because of that, I do feel the movie has a slow factor to it. Like, you know the main character is going to finish his training, he's going to build himself up to be the hero and save the world, you're just wondering, when's it going to happen? But it all pays off in one of the most exciting finales I've ever seen put to film. I think that Kingsman: The Secret Service is the first great movie of 2015. Next on my list is The Theory of Everything. I like making this joke to people that movies like this and The Imitation Game are kind of like nerd empowerment stories. They're both stories about geniuses who have these big problems in their lives. The Theory of Everything does a good job of portraying Stephen Hawking's life. There's the tragedy he had to go through with getting motor neuron disease, his relationship with his family, his scientific studies, and then it ends with the release of his book, A Brief History of Time. And it does so while showing you the parts you want to see in just a 2-hour runtime. One problem I can think of this movie is a flaw created by the trailer. After the first act, Hawking gets married and starts living his life with his family. There's a point in the middle where you start asking yourself, where's he gonna get the speaking coach? Still, the movie pulls through with its great performances and its great message. That no matter how hard life gets, you should keep moving forward because there should be no limit to human endeavor. Next up is Selma. I have to admit, I've seen enough anti-racism movies to not be shocked by something like this. But I went to see this because I thought it's about time somebody made a biopic based on Martin Luther King. I'll be honest, I do feel like I've seen this before. It's a portrayal of prejudice at the time, it's gonna be brutal, it's gonna be unapologetic. But there was one thing that stole the show for me. The actor who played Martin Luther King. Whenever he stood up on a stage and he was about to give one of his speeches, I wanted to listen to him. He had this bold, confident voice, and he had to manage to nail how King spoke perfectly. Overall, not bad, but the performances were what really made it for me. Next is The Interview, the controversial movie that almost started World War III. The actual response to it seems to have become one of those love it or hate it deals. I went to see it because I wanted to know if I would like it or not. It did seem like one of those interesting movies. So, what do I think? It's okay. I think The Interview is okay, but it's really dumb. Here's what I liked. Seth Rogen and James Franco are hilariously over the top. They actually managed to make some of the more awful jokes tolerable. Which is a good thing because some of the jokes in this movie are really bad. But they managed to make up for that by having the occasional joke which is drop-dead funny. Not much to say, The Interview is dumb, but I laughed. And finally we have the Marigold Hotel movies. The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel and the second Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. Okay, here's a really stupid story for me to tell you. I didn't know the second Best Exotic Marigold Hotel was a sequel. I saw the second movie without seeing the first. And now thinking back on it, I feel a little foolish since there actually were lots of signs that this movie was indeed a sequel. I think it was because of two reasons. One, I thought the title was trying to be funny, and B, I originally hadn't planned on seeing it. But then I had to go and see it for my job at the Bridgeway. So I saw it, I enjoyed it, and later I learned it was a sequel. So I watched the first movie, I enjoyed that one, but then I found that I left the second movie kind of forgettable. So what do I think of them? I think they're both good. What makes them are the characters. They're well written, they're diverse, they're relatable, and the movie does a good job of keeping up with all of them. Though I will admit, the non-linear storytelling did leave me lost a few times. It can be kind of hard to keep up with all of the stories going on at the same time, but the first movie kept me hooked all the way through. The second movie is kind of the same deal, and while it isn't bad, it's just not as good as the first one. Though it does still have the same qualities as the first one, in that the characters are still really good. So basically, if you liked the first movie, you'll probably like the second movie. So there's all of the movies I watched in February. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you later.